Hi everybody and welcome to our new engagement site. Thank you for visiting the site. I think it's really exciting that we're finally in a position where we can launch something like this and give back and connect with the community that have been supporting us for near enough the last year. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find something of value on the site and take something positive away. A little bit about me. I'm Keelie. I'm a student midwife mum. I'm in my early 30s and I've grown up in Sandbach since I was a toddler, so I've been here all my life. Growing up in Sandbach then, being mixed race, I've experienced my fair share of racism, I still do, and that's anything from covert microaggressions, racial slurs thrown across the street. Racially aggravated physical abuse is something that I experienced various times in secondary school. So being aware of police brutality and racially aggravated attacks in America and the UK, I've always followed Black Lives Matter for as long as I can remember. Time and time again, I'd read, about people dying at the hands of the police or Black people's racially motivated murder cases being handled wrongly by those in authority. It was time and time again, and I always wondered when these injustices would stop, but I was sat there not really doing anything about it myself. But the hard thing about it is, and I think it's the same as what a lot of people have experienced, is that I just question myself and say, how can little old me make any kind of change like that to society on my own, when we live in a world that's been plagued by racism and white supremacy for the last 400 plus years. How can I do anything about this on my own? But when I saw the video of George Floyd dying during lockdown, something clicked. Enough is enough, right? I realised that I needed to do my part. I needed to make my voice heard, even if that was a really scary thing to do. So I watched on the news the peaceful protests happening all over the world, but due to COVID and being locked down, I chose not to put myself amongst the crowds as much as I wanted to be there. But I needed to do something. It didn't feel right not to get involved in something with such an important message that I so strongly believed in. It just didn't feel right. But one day I saw a post in a local Facebook group in Sandbach, and the actual post was people expressing their dismay about a group of 3 or 4 people sat in the centre of town with Black Lives Matter placards. So I actually believe this was fate. I think this came at the exact right time for me, because I took the opportunity to go and, stand strong and deliver that message to Sandbach with these people. And that's when I met Katie. So since then, several events have occurred in Sandbach and they've grown in number each time. And it's been brilliant. Sandbach has heard our anti-racism message loud and clear, I'd say, and our community has grown to nearly 1,000 members now, which is great. We did receive a backlash for the work that we were doing. We still do to this day, from a loud minority of locals, I'd say. The backlash has involved covert and overt racism, threats of physical harm, and also a real denial that racism exists in Sandbach and beyond, just a denial of racism in general, which has been quite surprising. But yeah, the denial of racism in the town, I think, is just proof as to why an anti-racism campaign has been needed in Sandbach. So yeah. The response only made us more determined to speak out against racism, even in the face of hostility and anger, just because it's the right thing to do. And, the more people get mad about us doing anti-racism work in the town, the more I'm going to continue to do it. So, as long as people are getting angry at anti-racism messages, the longer we need to continue the campaign, in my view. So I'm very passionate about midwifery and bringing new life into the world. I'm in the second year of my studies. I studied in something else years ago, but this is something I'd always wanted to do and didn't have the confidence to do. So I've gone back into education, doing a second degree later on in my life. which has been challenging, but very interesting, and I absolutely love it. I'm particularly passionate about advocating for Black women, because in the UK, Black women are actually 5 times more likely to die in childbearing than their white counterparts, and you can find more about that statistic on the Embrace report from 2019. You can find that online and have a little read up about that if you wish. So yeah, what do I want from CVEA? What do I want to gain? So all I've ever wanted is equality and fairness across all races. This isn't about any particular race getting ahead or higher than another, not at all. For too long, we've seen facts, figures, data and research proving racial disparities in health, education, employment, crime, and statistics don't lie, and they shouldn't be up for debate, really. So I'm hoping that, you know, when we're out of the pandemic and we're a bit more free to roll out all of the different ideas that we've got in the pipeline, that we can spread the message just further from Sandbach too, beyond Sandbach, because rural racism is a real thing. And I think the denial of racism is something that we're starting to see in lots of different quaint little country towns like our own. So yeah, we've got lots of ideas in the pipeline, lots of connections, and we're hoping that we can, you know, spread our anti-racism message across the county. So what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy spending time with my little boy, going out on adventures with him, teaching him new and different things, listening to music, walking, and being around my family and friends, who I'm really looking forward to being able to finally hug when all of this is all over. So I really do hope you take something of value away from this site, whether you're here to learn more and connect, or even if you're somebody who's actually on the fence about the work that we're doing and you want to find out more. Everybody's welcome, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And I will leave you with my favourite quote from the one and only Maya Angelou: "We are only as blind as we want to be." So take care, and we'll speak soon. Bye.